Hey folks, welcome back to another Pokemon Master video, and today let's talk a bit about the Johto Masterfair reruns, and they're live already, right? So if you already summoned on the banners, hopefully you got some good stuff. But if you haven't, I guess let's just talk a bit about these banners, because they are 3 Masterfairs. They're good, and they also come at a very interesting time, right? So yeah, this is some generational bait banner. Although we can't really officially call it bait yet until we see what the anniversary units are. The anniversary units, I don't know, they might be worse. If the anniversary units are worse, then these are not bait, then these are actually banners you want to go for. But if the anniversary units are crazy, then obviously this will be you know, some of the greatest bait banners we've seen. So yeah, like they kind of do this usually, right? Before anniversaries, like, you know, they had second year anniversary, right before that they got the Lyra, which turned out to be better than all the anniversary units. Which I guess in that case that wouldn't be bait. And then, you know, last year they had Steven Deoxys, which was a crazy unit, and still is, right? So yeah, it happens. First year we had the turn disc with Leon, although that one wasn't bad. Actually, that was second year. I don't remember. Right? No, that was second year. Oh no, first year was Singsu Cynthia. Yeah, that one was kind of mid. That one was not very not very appealing. I guess, you know, you could also say this year Nimona, whatever, the Galavan arc. Although, I mean, the Galavan arc units are good. I don't feel like they were kind of as like game changing as something like a Lyra or Deoxys. But anyways, regardless, they're big, they're popular, people love them, and for good reasons. These they are really nice. So let's just talk a bit about, you know, just how well they've aged since then, and are they still good and worth going for, right? Let's start with Celebi. Of the 3, Celebi is the most like broken of them all, just because like Celebi is just nutty, right? Like, it's like 100% chance flinch rate is unreal. Like, this is just it's cheating. It's not fair. So someone stop the devs. So yeah, that part obviously makes a Celebi just in of itself just incredibly powerful. Like, you could basically ignore everything else about the kit, and Celebi would still be like an amazing and just borderline just broken unit, right? But outside of that, Celebi obviously does have a lot of other things, right? Obviously you have Johto Pride, which is you know, that buffs physical moves and physical damage reduction, which is really good, because like most of the strong grass types that use grassy terrain, which it also sets, right? That's all physical, right? Or at least most of them are physical. There's like a few special ones. I guess just like Solar Beam, Groudon, or Ho-Oh, whatever, right? Here and there. But yeah, most of them are physical. And that aside, as you could also see with Tapu Bulu, right? Outside of that, you know, it does buff, you know, attack, special attack +2, and then gradual healing. 2 uses on that, max out crit for your team, which is cool and all. And then yeah, it just has those debuffs, right? The debuffs that you could also pick out, right? There's like defense crush here, mind games over here. Where's the not Hesley, Ruthless Knight, right? Against a flinch, trap, confused opponent, minus one of those random stats by 2, right? So it's a big debuffer as well. You have free moves in grassy terrain, right? Which is obviously very amazing. Which yeah, straight up just does not consume move gauge, which is better than the one that like Latias has, right? So that's really good. You have that PR in grassy terrain, all that stuff. You have a pretty good sync nuke. Adrenaline, you can do some pretty solid damage with Grass Glide. Although it does look nice and there's a lot of things there, I do I am of the opinion that outside of you know, setting grassy terrain and the infinite like flinch thing, all the other stuff, they're good, but they're not great, right? For example, if you look at like the DPS, she could get to some really nice DPS. It does take a lot of setup though, right? The Sync Duke also takes a decent amount of setup. The buffs things aren't that great, right? I mean, Dark Hit All Plus is good, but like the other one, you know, +2 attack, special attack for like one user is kind of tough, especially when Lyra herself doesn't really have any other ways. I don't like it, but like any other serious ways out of Grand Entry 2, Fierce Entry 2, of buffing yourself. So like you using that for teammates, like a lot of times you just have to choose, right? If you have a teammate that doesn't max things out, are you gonna keep those for Lyra herself or her relatively decent DPS once built up, or nuke, right? Or are you just gonna use it on your main damage dealers? I'd say most of the time you probably run it on the main damage dealers, which in that case Lyra herself is probably not gonna be doing too much from the damage front. So I'd really just say, like, outside of this 100% flinch thing, right? A lot of the others, like even I guess even as like a grassy terrain setter, Tapu Bulu is better. Tapu Bulu is straight up better. Yeah. You can't really argue with that. As a field setter, Tapu Bulu is just better, right? Better at setting grassy terrain. Also sets Sun as well on top of that. It's obviously the better support, like buffer, right? You know, one of the best, straight up, like, well, it's not even one, it is the best physical support in the entire game, right? And all that stuff. So I just really feel like outside of this flinch, which is still 100% broken, 1,000,000,000% broken, right? It's I'm not saying that, you know, she's a bad unit. She's a great unit. I'm just saying, like, the rest of her stuff is good, but not great, right? It's just good. It's not exactly great, but overall it's still a really nice unit. And I'd almost go as far as to say, like, I won't say, like, it's a must pull, but, like, everyone kind of needs a Lyra. Everyone kind of needs a Celebi over here, right? Well, maybe need is too strong of a word, but if you don't got yourself a 100% flinch unit, right, like, it's like that just straight up just carries, you know, a legendary gauntlet stage by herself. Almost. Like, not all of them. Some of them are actually not very susceptible to flinch, but like a lot of them are, right? A lot of them are. Like, she just straight up just carries a stage on her own, easily, right? So yeah, she's just incredibly broken of a unit. So, like, regardless of like anything else, right? And again, do keep in mind, we're a week away from, you know, at least the anniversary units dropping in the game. So do think about that before. Like here's the thing. For all three of these, you don't have to pull them right now, right? I'm pretty sure they're all still up when the anniversary units drop in the game. So there's really no rush to get these units right now. Like, there's no like big, unless you really want to go for like the gauntlet streak. Although, when does the gauntlet end at? I think it ends on the 3rd. Like, even if you want them for like the gauntlet, right? The gauntlet ends on 3rd, so there's still time. There's still time, like, on that end as well, right? So yeah, there's no reason to rush yourself to really go for these units at all before seeing what's up with the anniversary, right? The banners go away on the 14th of September, which, you know, by that time, you know, half the anniversary would have been passed, right? So, but that being said, just all things being as it is right now, this is, I don't know, man. This is still like a this is still like a 9.2 out of 10 unit for me. Again, the other things are not that good, right? The other things are not that good. They're nice, but they're not great, right? It's just that, like, this one thing is crazy, and she still does, you know, a lot of other things. Even though she's not that great at them, she still does them, right, in one unit. You know, try hard enough, you could get her to do a lot of things, right? So I definitely think this is still a very, very, very worth considering unit. But again, wait first, patience, right? There's no need to go for them right now. Next up, let's talk a bit about Kris, right? Singsu Kris, and Singsu Kris is just straight up. It's pretty straightforward. It's a special support, right? It's a special support with rain, and even if you take the rain thing out, like, oh yeah, no, I don't care about running her on my rain team. It doesn't matter. Like, she's still very, very good outside of rain teams. Like, she's still one of the premium special supporters in the game, right? Like, if you just solely look at special supports in the game, right? Like, there just hasn't been a special support on the level of Acerola and Tapu Bulu, I don't think, right? I don't think any special support is as over the top, like, unreal as Acerola and Tapu Bulu. But with that being said, right, if you do want to look at the actual special sports in the game, then it pretty much just comes down to like a Singsu Kris or Singsu Brendan, right, or something along the lines of that. I guess I'd probably consider Calem, even though it's mixed, but I'd say it's mixed, but more physical than special, right? More physical than special. She's nice, but I don't think she's, you know, really at that level, obviously. So yeah, I'm just a quick look over these. Yeah. I don't think there's too much to like special supports outside of those. And if I would be a bit people do put these two kind of on the same level, but the more I use them, the more I feel like I like Singsu Brendan a bit more, right? I do like Singsu Brendan a bit more as a special support, for a few reasons. Like, the free move thing is really, really good, right? And special defense debuff, it's not like as crazy as people think it is, just because on paper it's whatever, big, you know, multiply, right? 1.8 or whatever. But, you know, most opponents, they do have mitigation of that, so it's not going to actually be that big. But there's just also a lot other to it, because, like, the main thing you're comparing with these two units are special defense debuff versus special move up next. And I do feel like special defense debuff is better, right? Unless you just have insane, like, physical special move up next, like Acerola, Tapu Bulu, which Kris doesn't really have. But yeah, just because, like, special defense debuff, it's not just good in and of itself. It activates multipliers, right? Based on that, like brain tears or whatever. It's also, you know, it also works on your max moves, your sync moves, all that stuff. It applies to everything. So I in general, I do think I like Brendan a bit more. I like his potions, right? And not that many potions are bad or whatever, but they're fine. But yeah. But on the other hand, right, Kris does have that extra. I don't think the Master Pass is that good. It's just Flag Bearer, but, you know, it's a Master Pass. But also it does have, like, rain, right? It's clearly, you know, a great rain support. Is it my favorite rain support to use? I think so. You could argue if she's the best or not. Cause, you know, the what's it called? The variety, was it variety Lyra, right? The one with the one with Vaporn, and obviously that one's really good as a rain setter. Calem, Champion Calem is nice as a rain setter, but I don't like it as much, just cause, like, you have to wait the turns, which is slightly annoying, right? But, you know, he's a capable rain setter as well, right? A few others here and there, but I just feel like in general, she's probably the most comfortable one to really use, right? She has the guaranteed MPR back after sync. That's really nice, right? At the first sync, at least. So you at least get 3 rain dances guaranteed. So that's really good. I guess she is a bit too specialized in terms of just being a special sort of support, right? Like, there's a lot of really, really great physical water types now, right? Yeah, there's Doja Glory, obviously, Nessa, right, etc. What was the other one that's it's escaping my mind right now that just came out relatively recently? Or maybe not, no. I'm tripping, never mind. But yeah. I guess, like, he's just slightly specialized in comparison. But I mean, you know, with those units, just run Champion Calem, right? In that case. But yeah, she's still really, really good. I'd say, you know, at least top 3 best special supports in the game. If not top 2, right? So there's still a lot of value. Again, all the other stuff applies, right? There's no rush. Anniversary units will be out before the banner goes away, right? There's no need to pull from them right now. But just looking at them, you know, in of itself at the moment, right? I'd probably give this like probably like an 8.6 out of 10, right? It's just a fantastic special support, right? It's a fantastic special support. It's really hard to go wrong with Singsu Kris, right? Really, really hard to go wrong with this unit. As a special support, as a rain support, right? Again, I don't feel like she's at the level of some of the, I guess, more recent supports like Acerola, right? But she's still very, very good for her own right. And yeah, I guess like the only thing that might hold someone back is like, okay, what if we get a special Acerola soon? Which I guess, okay, maybe, right? But it doesn't hurt to have more supports, man. More good supports, right? I just don't feel like it never hurts. It never hurts to have more good supports. Good supports are always going to be in demand in the game, right? Because they're probably the most in demand role, I'd say, overall, right? So yeah, and it's a support that also again sets range. Like, yeah, can't say too much bad about it, really. Last one over here, let's talk a bit about Ethan and Singsu, Ethan, and Lugia. And this is, of the 3, I would definitely say this one is the least appealing one. He's really, you know, nice and fun when he first released. But even when he first released, I thought of the 3, he was probably the least, like, really worthy of picking up. Because, like, it's 3 Masterfairs, right? It's, you know, not everyone could just willy-nilly just get pull 3 Masterfairs, right? I'd say, like, overall, he's just not incredibly worth it over the other 2, right? Not saying he's a bad unit, because I don't think he's a bad unit. He definitely does have some, you know, nice stuff going for him, right? Obviously, the no split damage AoE on the Aeroblast. Even though per target doesn't do that much damage, right? It's still, you know, it's an AoE, right? So that part's still nice. He is pretty gauge efficient for the most part if you're trying to, you know, slog out a gauntlet clear. So he's very, very, very good for that, I think. And his striker AoE nuke is also very powerful, right? So that's obviously a big upside there as well. But outside of that, right, like if you really want to go for a flying type damage dealer, though, in my opinion, right, and there's not a great amount of them out there, but Liza, right? Liza is just, yeah. it's better. Liza is just, yeah. And again, it's probably because just there aren't that many great flying type damage dealers in general, so like Liza stands out a bit more. But like, I don't know, man. I feel like just even if you put her in a lot of other types, she'd still be very, 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 very powerful, right? She's just really good, man. I don't know what else to say. Like, yeah, Liza's just better. Obviously, you know, not better everywhere. She's not better than Ethan, like gauges wise. Also, Ethan's cooler, so, you know, it's a freaking Lugia. So I get that, but overall, like if you're just going for like, I want someone to deal good flying type damage. Come on, right? Come on. Liza is, I'd say, by far the better pick here. But again, right? It doesn't hurt to have more, right? It doesn't hurt to have more, especially with these new high score events coming around. Like a flying one ever comes around one day, although I don't really see it coming anywhere, you know, anytime soon, unless we just get like crazy flying units during like the 4th anniversary. But yeah, I feel like they're just starting with more of like the more popular types, right? Just so they don't make that same mistake they did with the what was Prestige event, right? So, but yeah, it doesn't hurt to get more, and he's still good, right? He's still good. It's just like the damage like per target is definitely very behind on the times in comparison to a lot of modern damage dealers, right? It's just not very, yeah, not very on par nowadays. And again, like even outside of Liza, there are some other really good flying type damage dealers, right? Like you know, Blue, he's an old one, but he's good, man, right? He got that new grid expansion as well, right? Which actually gives him, you know, the incentive to sync, which kind of fixes his biggest problem, which is you have to sync with him to actually use him, or else he doesn't get Hurricane, but like his sync sucks. But now they fixed it, right? So, you know, Blue's really good still. Lysander, although not completely for damaging purposes, he's, you know, that new grid is very nice, especially for Gauntlet, right? This guy low-key still hits pretty freaking hard, and even the free one, right? The Zinnia, not that it doesn't have a flying type sync, but you know, now with Dragon Ascent, the Dragon Ascent does hit pretty dang hard as well. So it's just, you know, you don't have that process, and people love to meme on Annie Steven. And I don't think Annie Steven's better than Lugia. I don't think a lot of, you know, these are better than Lugia, but Annie Steven still hits very hard, DPS wise, in comparison to a lot of other flying type units. Again, you can't compare too many because a lot of them do more. You know, he's still alright. Yeah, but I mean, if you have like Liza, would the second pick be like Ethan? I think so. I think you can make an argument for that. I think you can definitely make an argument for just because like everyone has Blue, right? Like literally, he's a free unit like initially, 1 out of 5, but still. I'd say yeah. I decided between him and maybe Lysander, but then Lysander I have to go for like, you know, 5, which is slightly, you know, that's hard, right? So I'd say Ethan's still like a solid ish number 2, right? But overall, again, just has not been really keeping up with the times, right? If you compare him across the board with a lot of other damage dealers that we've been getting, that just AoE, no split damage, like it's slightly sad, but regardless, he's all right. But again, I wouldn't really recommend him too hard though, so probably just give him like maybe like a 7 out of 10 overall, right? But if you like Lugia or Ethan, like, go for it, bro. It's Lugia, man. You don't like Lugia, man. Come on. Anyways, actually there are a lot of people who don't like Lugia apparently, which is kind of odd, but who am I to judge? Alright, so anyways, yeah, that's gonna be this one, I guess. Hope you all enjoyed, guys. Link in the comments below. Like, enjoy the video, subscribe to my channel for more Pokemon content, all that stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one then. Again, just hold your horses here, just evaluate until we actually see the anniversary units. As good as these units are, I would be very surprised if the anniversary units are all worse than these 3. I'd be very surprised if they're worse than these 3. Although again, the Lyra gimmick aside, right? So, but Lyra, it's Lyra, man. All right, see you guys in the next one.